morning. It's November the 20th. It's about 7:40 something in the morning. Me and my daughter have a pump class today. So this is dealing with a continuous way to instead of us having to continuously stick ourselves with needles and get insulin. This would be something that's attached to us that we won't have to do all of that anymore. So we already have Dexcoms, and we wear Dexcoms to monitor our blood sugars. So this would be a way to be able to do that to control our insulin intake. So it's a 2-hour class, and we'll see how I go.
So today's objectives, we're going to talk about intensive diabetes management, the advantages and disadvantages of pump therapy, the pumps and the infusion set choices. For you, of course, we'll focus more on the iLet, the no carb counting pump, safety features and alarms, how to troubleshoot if you have high blood sugar on the pump and what to do if you have ketones, some problem solving scenarios, and then expectations of a successful insulin pump candidate. So, why would we want to use a pump? You want improved blood sugar control. You can get more precise dosing than with injections. If you're having issues with kind of your blood sugars going up and down, so severe high or low blood sugars, if you want to have a reduced risk of complications with better blood sugar control, we can definitely reduce our risk with the diabetes. Also, it increases your flexibility in day-to-day life, and obviously we have fewer injections because instead of having to pull out your insulin, take a shot, you're just going to your pump monitor and you're putting in, how many carbs, or if you're announcing a meal, putting like, hey, I'm eating right now, so just pushing a button rather than, But of course, taking care of the site, loading the cartridge, and making sure that it's all working correctly is another, layer of safety that we'll talk about. So some pump therapy key terms so that you guys will want to be aware of when you're on a pump and as we go through this presentation. So your basal insulin essentially means, your long-acting injection that you take every night. Mm-hmm. It's just your background insulin. So we use the term in the pump basal. So basal insulin, that long-acting, it's used with your multiple daily injection therapy like you're on right now. Now the big difference between insulin pump therapy and injection therapy is that the only type of insulin in the pump is fast-acting insulin. So essentially, your basal insulin is a set rate of your fast-acting insulin in the pump. So it basically is like a slow drip, because we know that fast-acting insulin does not last for 24 hours. So You're probably like, how is it, I thought we need the long-acting. Well, we don't always need the long-acting with the pump. So the fast-acting insulin is out of your body in 3 to 4 hours. So always very important to make sure you're paying attention if you have unexplained high blood sugars on the pump. Because if you have any interruption in pump therapy, remember, you don't have your long-acting, that background long shot, keeping your blood sugars and keeping you out of DKA, essentially. So the cool thing about pump therapy is that basal insulin delivery, right, that long-acting, that background, or in the pump, it's your fast-acting, kind of at a slow drip in the background. The long-acting insulin injection is just one straight dose. You see how it's just, you can't change it. It's like, for example, 24 units. Mm-hmm. Now, insulin pump therapy, we are going to start you out on one set basal rate, that matches your long-acting. But then as we follow up with you after the pump class and the pump start, we can go ahead and actually make different time segments. Be like, hey, she needs a little less basal insulin overnight. She needs a little more basal insulin during the day at this time in the evening. So it can kind of not be the whole straight through. It can be different segments, which is pretty cool. It's very customizable. All right, so the other term that we'll want to know is bolus insulin. So remember, basal and bolus. It's both going to be that fast-acting insulin, but the basal just means it's that slow drip. So that's how the fast-acting insulin is acting when it's the basal. Now, when it's the bolus, that is a single dose of insulin. So that would be compared to you taking an injection of fast-acting. So that's your bolus. So when we say you're going to bolus for your meal on the pump, that's what we mean. Take that insulin for the food. So we use the bolus insulin to correct the high blood sugar, cover your carbohydrates, and of course we know it starts working within 15 minutes after we give it. And then, of course, your rapid-acting insulin type. So your Novolog, Humalog, Admelog, Aspart, Lispro, all the different kind of insulins that could be in your pump.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So when it's pretty much concerning me because I take Ozempic.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're taking Ozempic and doing this,
Mm-hmm.
because I have dropped, because of me taking Ozempic, my insulin numbers have dropped.
Yes, exactly.
And gotten better.
Yes.
So like my long acting is only 20.
Uh-huh.
And then my short acting is 6.
6, okay, like per meal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so the nice thing about the Ozempic and those kind of GLP-1 drugs is that they make it so it makes your body more sensitive to insulin. So your insulin needs are able to come down.
Okay.
Have we ever tried to do that have we tried to give
She's had Trulicity.
Okay.
But she had the issues with her stomach.
Okay. So the side effects.
Yeah.
So you
she
stopped
had
it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And then any questions about like the difference between basal and bolus before we start going through the other key terms? Yeah. All the kind of pumps that are on the market right now. So basically, and Kaya, do you wear Dexcom consistently? Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. So really important, especially with the iLet pump, the only things, so your no carb counting pump, the only things that are programmed in there are the patient's weight and like total daily dose of insulin. And then it takes the feedback from the sensor, right? Like those sensor readings, and it adjusts based on that. So essentially, if Kaya does not have a sensor on, it's going to need you to prick every 4 to 8 hours to give it information to be able to. So basically, she needs to keep a sensor on with that pump. So that's very important. So yeah, the automated insulin delivery systems, they all adjust the insulin in the background off of the sensor readings. So that is what the AID means. So other terms we use for it are like smart pumps, all that kind of stuff. Using those different algorithms to adjust the insulin. And the really important thing to note about, even though it has the word like automated in it and all that kind of stuff, it does not mean they are fully automated. Mm-hmm. They still require you to say, hey, I'm eating right now, or hey, putting your carbs and your blood sugar and that, all of that kind of stuff. All right, so we've kind of talked about this difference between multiple daily injection therapy and pump therapy. You can get more precise dosing on the pump because there's smaller increments in the units instead of the smallest dose just being half unit with the injections. Of course, you're only changing your insulin pump site every 2 to 3 days, whereas with multiple daily injection therapy, you're doing multiple injections per day. Your basal rate or your background insulin is a straight fixed dose. Pump therapy, your basal rates can vary. You have to calculate, your carbs or put your meal in on both of them. The multiple day injection therapy uses 2 different types of insulin, your rapid and your long acting. Then of course your pump therapy, like we talked about, only uses that rapid acting. So yeah, insulin pumps are smart, but they're not set and forget devices. They need attention and maintenance. The pumps can fail and you need to be ready to react. So we will talk about that a little later. And yep, so more advantages of the AID systems, more flexibility in day-to-day life, less blood sugar variability, so less highs and lows. More time in your target range, the reduction of complications, reduction in diabetes burden, and just better control all around. So some of the challenges. Like we talked about, the insulin pump uses only rapid-acting insulin. Any interruption or lack of insulin delivery increases the risk of DKA, remember, because she doesn't have that long-acting background shot. This risk decreases with frequent blood glucose monitoring and ketone checks if the blood sugar is above 250. And then of course another challenge is low blood sugar, but this risk exists for anybody on insulin. You always need to wear or carry your devices. So these are some examples of like extreme reactions. I always want to point that out. For example, I've been on a pump for almost 20 years and never had anything like this. But sometimes people are allergic to like the adhesive, and if they're not rotating their sites, you can develop that scar tissue just like with
but
injections.
It's still the same adhesive that you would have for the Dexcom,
Yeah.
right?
So since they're not made by the same company, they might be a little slightly different. But if your skin does fine with the Dexcom, it's most likely that it'll also do fine with the pump site.
Okay.
And if for some reason Kaya did have issues with the pump sites, we have other ways around it. We can do like skin prep, different kind of allergy prep there, and like under patches, all that kind of stuff. So there are ways around it if the sites aren't working for her.
Okay.
All right, so this is like the history of insulin pump therapy. And we're not going to go through all the pump options. Just want to double check, Craig. We're not going through all of them. So this is the one you would be getting. So you want me to bring it in so I can show it to you one more time?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be right back. Put it in your pocket, all that kind of stuff. And this is where you disconnect for showering or swimming, anything like that. So it like hooks onto the site, and then you can just kind of keep it tucked up in your. You want to see it?
So I'm back from her appointment. It actually was her appointment, but I'm going to be going through the same thing with her, same thing she's going through, for myself. So we both are diabetics. Both of us are type 2 diabetics. We both have Dexcoms. If you don't know what a Dexcom is, a Dexcom is a monitor, is a sensor that I put mine right here on my chest. But most people put on your leg. You can put on your leg. You can put on your stomach. You can put it wherever it can go on your skin, as long as it has blood flow through your body, which everybody does. But as long as it can get a read on your blood sugar, and it can, let you know what your blood sugars are. So I normally put mine up here, like normally where my bra strap is at, because I'm a side sleeper, and me putting it on my arm or my leg or even on my stomach I'm going to have an issue with sleeping on my side and it come off, or it's not able, because it runs off of Bluetooth. So you can get a little thing for it, but I have mine connected to my phone. So I can, even when I'm out, I don't have to worry about an additional device to take with me. Everything is on my phone. Everything is on my phone. The alarm goes off when it's too high. If it's long, go off when it's too low, whatever the case may be. But I have that, and she has it as well. So I want to be better, even though I do take Ozempic, and I take Ozempic for the reason for I need to take Ozempic, because I am a diabetic, and all diabetics are really supposed to, not all, but most diabetics are. That's the Ozempic is for that reason, for diabetics, not for y'all people that's out there just want to lose weight fast, because it's not for that. Like y'all don't have the issues when it come down to sugar. So please, like even when I took Trulicity is another one that it was hard to get, because people will go and buy it up and use it for purposes to lose weight when you're not a diabetic, and it's not for y'all. It's for diabetics to help us with our sugars and maintain our sugars. So I know I will be doing the only thing about the one she was talking about in the at the appointment is that it has tubing. So, but this one, like she was saying, you don't have to carb count. I don't like carb counting at all. So I'm going to take the risk of doing this way. And if I get to the point where I'm more comfortable and I'm ready to carb count, because carb counting is not as easy as people want to make it seem. And because it's so important that I get my actual numbers right and correct, because I can run the risk of having too much insulin or not enough insulin. And if I have too much insulin, I can go in with DKA. And what she was saying, DKA, where your sugars are, you get too much insulin. And that is dangerous because people can die from that. If you have too much insulin, your sugar go down too low, you can actually die from that. Having too much sugar in your system can cause your organs to shut down and cause other things to happen. Hence the reason why I'm visually impaired. So yeah. So I'm going to do the same. And I told my daughter we're going to do it together. So it's not like she's doing this by herself. I'm doing it with her because it'll be motivation for her because I want her. She's younger. Now, mind you, she got hers. She started hers when she was about, what? It was 2020. So I think she was about, she was about 12. When she started me, I didn't start being diabetic because I didn't become diabetic until I was pregnant with her. So I never had an issue when I was pregnant with my son. My father was diabetic. And I don't want, my grandfather was as well. And my mother, she's diabetic. But my father, unfortunately, because of other reasons as well, and him not taking care of him the best way he needed to take care of himself, he succumbed to those issues that just build up from you not taking care of what you need to take care of when it comes to your health. This is why I tell my daughter it's very important. I tell my son this too. Like, he does not exempt as well, but I tell my kids that it's very important because when you get diabetes, yes, it's possible to get rid of diabetes with, a better diet and being active and all that kind of stuff. It's possible to get rid of diabetes, or at least get it to the point where you are, what I can say, not comfortable, but it works in your favor. I'm gonna say that it works in your favor where you can keep your sugars down. You can, and then when you do that, things don't mess up. So when it comes down to me, I'll get into that another time. But yeah, so the appointment went good. She's gonna tell the doctor, her doctor, that this is what she wanna do. Her doctor is going to go ahead and put the information in to the insurance. Insurance is going to go ahead and fill it, and they're going to send it to the house. And when they send it to the house, then I'll make an appointment for her to go back and actually show her how to put it on and how to, how to fill the cartridges, because you got to fill cartridges. The same thing for the Omnipod and all the other ones that you do carb count. You have to fill up the cartridges. You have to put the insulin in it. So of course, because it don't come with insulin already in it, so you will have to fill up the cartridges. So they're going to show her everything so she'll know exactly what to do. I will be doing the same thing, but like I said, when I start off with this, and then later on, I'll probably switch to Omnipod or something else that my insurance will be able to pay for. Because my ending goal is to, if I can't get rid of this, is to be able to, even if I did have this for the rest of my life, for it to be controlled, well controlled. It's better controlled now because I was at a point where my sugars was 3, 4s, all that kind of stuff. Now I can say the highest my sugar has probably went, is probably in the 2s, like 250-ish, maybe a little bit higher if I have something, like if I have an iced coffee or something like that. But I take insulin to cover that. But as far as when it come down to just waking up, like I'm in hundreds, I'm in the low hundreds, or I'm in the under 100, which is all great. That's all great. Like, you're really not supposed to go over 150. They don't want you to really go over 2. They don't really want you to go over 2. But if you can actually keep it below 150, that's perfect. That's perfect. Because when it comes down to people that are type 2 diabetic, we can still produce insulin through our pancreas, but it's just not as much. You see what I'm saying? So other people, normal people, people that don't have, say not normal, I'm going to say people that don't have these issues, have diabetes, your pancreas can actually produce insulin for anything that you eat. You can sit there and eat some candy and all that kind of stuff, and your pancreas is going to sit there and shoot out the insulin to cover it so it won't go up. But for people that are diabetic, for people that are type 2 diabetic, we get a little bit some out, can shoot out some insulin, but it's not enough. You see what I'm saying? So we have to put medicine in our body and shoot insulin in our body for it to cover what we eat or what we consume. It could be liquid, it could be candy, it could be anything. Like, we can have these type of things. It's just in moderation. Like, you can't sit there and I can't go crazy. I love fruit punch, like Turkey Hill fruit punch. I love it, but I can't sit there and drink a ton of it, because I know in the event, like, I can drink a sip. I can have like 4 ounces or whatever, and them 4 ounces is going to shoot my sugar sky freaking high. So for a person that's type 1, your pancreas your pancreas will not make insulin at all. So you rely on medication. For us, for type 2 diabetics, we can do a little bit, but not as much. So we still have to rely on insulin, but we don't have to. Our body can still generate some type of insulin. It's just not enough. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, my whole ending for me and for my daughter is especially because she wants to be a nurse. So you have to lead by example. You cannot sit and teach others how to take care of themselves if you're not taking care of yourself. So, and I let her know that, and I tell her this, and she's getting better. Because trust me, she was terrible. It was like her A1C would be up to like 12 or over 12, which is dangerous, because if you're in that high range, your A1C is in that high, that means your sugars are always over 300. And that runs risk of things in your body, your organs shutting down, meaning that makes sure the sugar gets so thick. Like, okay, don't you know when you make Kool-Aid or you make some type of juice or whatever case, and you use sugar, and you notice if you put a lot of sugar in some water, that it turns into a syrup. That's what your blood does. Your blood will get so thick, and of course, when you have thick blood, it's hard for it to move through your body. So when you have, because it's so thick that your organs, like your kidneys, a lot of your kidneys, your eyes, your liver, a lot of even just tissues in your body, like, will shut down because it's not getting the proper blood flow through it, and could also cause blood clots. Like, that's dangerous too. That's just dangerous in itself. So if you have thick blood, think about what a blood clot looks like and how thick a blood clot is. So because you have something that's thick going through your body, if just a blood clot alone can do some things to your body, what do you think constant blood that's thick is going to do? And this is on a normal, everyday basis. Like, it's terrible. So this is what caused me to lose my vision. That's one of the things that caused me to lose my vision. So, but yeah, I'll get into that whole thing about exactly what happened to me, is why I lost vision, and all that kind of stuff on a later time. But for this, the appointment was good.